Welcome, yogi friends. Today, grab a chair, an ottoman, something that's sturdy. If you don't have that, you're going to use the yoga blocks for your hands. You could place them underneath the hands, or if we're doing something that's seated and I have you on an elevated space, you could sit yourself on something like an ottoman or a coffee table, a bolster if you have it. Something like that. So we'll just improvise as we move along. But if you have that elevated space, then I would suggest go ahead and having it available. Makes life a little easier today, and I just don't want to have to worry about getting too far down to the floor every time. So we're going to open up the chest a little bit by using this, and maybe even the hips. So as you come to your mat, if you have your elevated object or piece of furniture, have that in front of you, and make sure, again, that it's not going to move. We want to make sure it's steady. So as you're standing in mountain pose, let's just start here for a moment just to collect ourselves and to get centered and bring awareness to where you are today. So separating the toes wide, standing firm, feet parallel, shoulders just relax down. Put a little intention between the shoulder blades, but we're not trying to squeeze them all the way back. And let the thighs relax a little without locking the knees. And just let yourself stand here with the eyes closed if you can, or a soft gaze to the floor, palms facing forward. And just start to find your natural sway that you may have, or feel if you see how you feel. See if you feel like you're maybe 1 foot forward in front of the other, or if you're just feeling nice and steady. Let's take about 3 deep breaths here. Deep breath in as you sweep your arms up. Eyes can remain closed. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Feel how you're grounded through the feet as you reach overhead. Press right beneath your big toe, across to your little toe, and into your heels. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bring it down. This time I want you to sweep the arms up. Pause and just bring it all over to one side, reaching to one side. I'll turn towards you. And then up and over to the other side. And then back to center. So with your eyes open or closed, it's your choice. And you might challenge yourself throughout the practice today to see if you could close your eyes at any time. And bring the hands down as you hinge forward. Hands to that elevated space. Continue to let your chest fall. Now, if you feel like you could rest your elbows on that space, go ahead. We're just going to take a few deep breaths here in this supported forward bend, lifting the hips up high, letting your chest fall. Let the head fall. Shift your weight slightly forward so that you're not allowing your sit bones to lean way back past your heels. And take one more breath. As you start to put a little bend in the knees, inhale, lifting up using the core, and then all the way up unhinging. Exhale, bring it all the way back down. Just softly bend the elbows this time, allowing your chest to fall as far as you can. Lifting up, flat back. So a little tabletop with your back, and bring it back down. Inhale, unhinging, lifting up, reaching up, sweeping up, and exhale, falling, hinging forward. Lifting up, flat back. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting all the way up again. And bring the hands right down to the center. So take a breath here. Just allow yourself that stillness for another moment. Finding intention for your practice today. Hands can stay at the heart. Eyes remaining closed or with a soft gaze. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, fold. Lifting to that flat back space again. Pause. Make sure that your hands are secure, your item is secure, and you're going to step it back one big step at a time, finding an elevated plank. Okay, so making sure that your tail's not lifting up, you're drawing your tail slightly down, your chest is moving forward. You're just a nice long diagonal. Take about 3 more rounds of breath here. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Shoulders just slightly moving back away from the ears, making sure you're not shrugging. And making sure, also check out your feet. They're at least hip distance. They might be shoulder distance. Lift the hips up right where you are. See if you could just press back from here into supported down dog. Soften the knees. Let the heels drop as much as you feel comfortable. Let the chest open by dropping through the arms, but keeping the rib cage pulled up. Shoulders opening away and relaxing away from your ears. One more breath. Inhale, gazing forward. Go ahead and walk or take big steps up to the top of your mat toward your hands. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, sweep it up all the way up. Hands moving back down to heart center. Inhale, sweeping overhead. Exhale, folding. Lifting halfway up, stepping back into your plank, big step. See if you can use the opposite leg to step back first this time. Pause, gazes forward, 2 more breaths. Strong through core, pull the rib cage in, tail slightly down. And with your next exhale, shifting back, lifting your hips up high. Soften the knees as much as needed and see if you can drop your heels closer to the floor. Pull rib cage up. Let your shoulders relax. 1 more breath. And then inhale, gaze forward, walk or big steps up to the top. Back to your forward fold. Lifting halfway up. And then exhale, come down. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Hands move back to heart center. Inhale, sweeping. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting. With your next breath, take your left leg, step it back and pause. So now we're in this nice big lunge. Check out your front knee. If that caused you to move forward, just move your feet a little bit so you feel more comfortable and within reach to hold on to your item. Your knee is right over the heel. Chest is forward, leg is back solid through that glute, and just gaze forward. So we're at a nice long diagonal here. Pull up through your hips just a little bit as though you could take your hip point off of your front thigh. And then just sweep the arms forward. Nice big diagonal. Adding more strength, more core here. Sweep the arms back, reaching back like an airplane, and then sweep it back forward. We'll do that again. Inhale, sweep back. Exhale, sweep forward. And one more time. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Taking hands down to the item you've got here. Place that right hand back, or right foot back. That's a foot. Hold it here. Press it back into down dog. Lift the hips up high. Come onto the tips of your toes. And then softly let your heels land toward the floor. Inhale, gazes forward, taking your left foot forward. Bring it up enough that you can keep that knee in line with your heel. On ball of the back foot, lifting the back heel, and then gazing forward. Inhale, go ahead and sweep those arms up. See if you can pull this hip point kind of off of the front thigh. Okay, so ribs, hips connecting. You don't want to feel a lot of pressure in that hip crease. Now sweeping the arms back and then reaching overhead. Nice long diagonal. Inhale, exhale. One more. And exhale forward. Bring the hands down. Stepping up, forward fold, Uttanasana. And lifting halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Bring it back down. Sweep all the way up. Hands meeting at center. Inhale. Sweeping big. Exhale, fold. As you lift halfway up, step left foot back again. Pausing in your high lunge, checking out your alignment before you go anywhere. This time, go ahead and start to pull up, almost like you're moving into calf stretch, and then continue to take your hands off of your item and sweep the arms overhead. So you're just landing in a giant, big crescent pose. If you feel like you need your back knee down, go ahead, take it. You can always modify your practice to meet your needs where you are. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. That big crescent pose. Let's, with that breath, sweep the arms back. Just hold it. And then sweep it back up. One more. Inhale, sweeping back. And then exhale, sweep it up, forward fold. Stepping right foot back to meet the left. If you need to make an adjustment, just lift that back foot further forward and then let them meet. Back into your plank, inhale. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, stepping left foot forward. Pausing, inhale. As you exhale, start to round up like a cat stretch, and then continue that lift from your core as you sweep up. Deep breath in, gazes forward. Shoulders relaxing. Let's bring those elbows back, open the chest. Inhale. Exhale, back up. Inhale, back. And then exhale, bring it up. Sweep the arms down in front of you. Stepping up to forward bend. And halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, back down. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. Hands to heart. Continuing with your breath, inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Lifting halfway. Exhale, left leg back. Exhale, on your next exhale, round up, cat stretch, and then continue to lift and rise and reach. Inhale, pull the arms back. Exhale, reach up. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, reach up. One more time. Inhale, up, back. Exhale, sweep it up. Pause here. Bring hands down to the center, right at your chest. Keep your right knee anchored. Push it over to the right as you pull the left hip back, opening into your warrior two. Arms go out. Just gazing out over your front hand back to the top of your mat with your vision, and then sweep your right arm up into your exalted warrior. So you're moving away from your front thigh. Come all the way back over. Take a pause. Reach towards your item here, and go ahead and see if you can straighten that leg out. Now, if you need to move yourself closer to it, it's okay. We're just in a very broad triangle pose. So again, don't feel like you have to round or reach or hunch. I want you to move yourself toward the items. You can move. You're perfectly capable of moving. Your feet are not super glued to the mat. It's okay. Okay, so it's all right if you have to move. Take that other arm, lift it up, and then sweep over the head. Bend the right knee, your front leg. Bend that leg, hold it here. Reaching out, long stretch, all the way from your heel to your fingertips, into side angle. And sweep it back around. Bring that hand around. As you lift the back heel, pivot around. Now you can do everything I'm doing on the mat or just with blocks, so don't worry. Okay. Take that right foot back. I'm just giving you elevated options here. Inhale, lift up a little bit, gaze forward, and then exhale, press back. Inhale, bring that left foot forward. Hold it here. Lifting the back heel just slightly. Start to round, lift up, holding that big crescent. We pull back, and then reach it up. Pulling back, and reaching up. Let's do that one more time. Try not to over flare in your rib cage, just activating in your upper back. Okay, bring it up. Hands come right to the heart. Knee pushing slightly over to the left side, or even turn your toes just slightly to the left corner. And now opening on that right hip as you pull it back. Chest turns to long edge of your mat. Open up into your warrior two here, gazing out over the front hand. Left hand flips up to the sky and reach up. Exalted warrior. Take another breath. As you bring that hand down, pause, straighten out the left leg, start to reach it forward, and see if you can just place your fingertips or your hand on the item in front of you, or to your thigh or your leg if that feels better. Right arm is up. 2 more rounds of breath. Let the side waist drop down. If you feel like you're kind of rounding here, just relax into that side waist. Bend the front knee, left knee bends, and then reach your right arm overhead. Reaching out for side angle. Let's take one more breath. Spinning back around to the front, picking up your back heel. Stepping up towards your hands. Forward fold. Lifting up halfway. Inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, sweeping up. Hands moving back to center. Inhale, sweeping. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Make sure you're standing pretty close to where your hands are. Step your left foot back again. Take that pause in your lunge. Sweeping arms up. This time bring them back even further, and if you can reach back, flip your palms in. Now like you're holding a big beach ball behind you, just hold it here. Pull the ribs back in. Maybe interlace the fingers or grab a strap or just hold the hands. It's right here, just like you're holding a ball. Okay, so they don't have to touch. But if you want the extra bind, feel free to take it. One more breath. And then sweep the arms up. Bring hands down to center, opening up for your warrior two. Left heel drops, toes turn out. Reaching. Right arm, front hand, lifting up. Exalted warrior, moving away from the front of your mat. There you go. Come back over. Bring the hand toward the item or your thigh. Sweep the left arm up, straighten the right leg. Always feel like you can move or move your item even if you need to. One more breath. Sweep the left arm over the head, bend the right knee. Okay, so I'm going to scoop my toes up a little, and if you had a chair, you might even scoop your toes underneath the chair. Let's go ahead and flip it back around to center. Take a little pause as you lift that back heel. Hop the left foot in about 6 inches or more, and then straighten both legs. A little supported pyramid pose. As you start to bring your elbows toward the floor, or toward the item or your blocks, or just your hands to blocks. But if you have something that's elevated enough, you might be able to come down lower and support on the forearms. Let's take about 3 more deep rounds of breath. Let your chest fall, your head fall. Sending your right hip slightly back, left hip slightly forward. Now, as you inhale, bring hands back to the item. Bend the right knee slightly as you start to now walk your hands forward. So if you're on a chair, you'll just walk toward the back of the seat instead of the front. We're going to lift that left leg up and pause. So from here, so notice I'm very level. So if you had a chair or something that you could keep yourself really level in, that'd be great. So left leg, lifted leg. We're going to rotate the toes out, keeping the hands planted. You might come to the fingertips of your left hand. Now we're just opening up a little half Ardha Chandrasana. And I want you to flip it back down. Square the hips, open it up, flip the hip on top. And then bring it down. Take that one more time. Lift up out of that bottom femur head, that bottom leg bone here in the thigh. Try to lift up away from it. And then bring it back down. Very nice. Setting your left leg back down to the floor. This time I want you to bring that knee all the way down. Reaching forward, walk your right foot over, and you can bring yourself further down into more of a low dragon lunge. Deep breaths. Again, feel free to move your item towards you if you need to. Find the position for yourself that works for you today. Take 2 more rounds of breath. As you start to come back up, lift the chest, and we're going to turn the toes under, lift up, and step your right foot back to meet the left, and we find that plank again. Okay. Take another breath, inhale, exhale, lift the hips high, shifting back into down dog. Inhale, go ahead, step the left foot forward. High crescent lunge, knee lifted, inhale, sweeping up. As you bring the elbows back, pause, Readjust your rib cage. So if you're really flaring out through the ribs, pull them back down. There you go. Relax the shoulders and then reach. Like you're holding that beach ball behind you or interlacing the fingers if you'd like to take a bind. Just try to activate in the upper back without overarching. One more breath. Good. And then release. Sweep the arms up as the hands come right to the heart. Go ahead and start to pivot on that back foot, dropping the heel down, turning toes out, opening into warrior two. Back through your exalted warrior, left arm up. And then bring it over. Reach. Bring that right hand down. Gaze to the front, pivoting back on your foot. I want you to lift that back foot a little bit, step it up, move into your pyramid stretch. If you can bring yourself down lower or find another level of something you can rest on, go ahead. Hands could be to the floor or blocks, or your elbows can be rested on a piece of furniture or prop. Make sure the tension is releasing from the neck. Just move it around a little. Last full breath here. Walking your hands back, lifting chest up. Now, walk the hands forward. Okay, so you're reaching forward from your shoulder line. So up above the shoulder line or up ahead of you. So now shifting away from the back foot, lift. And lift that right foot up. Keeping your hands planted, maybe coming to your fingertips of your right hand. And we're going to lift that right hip up. Notice here how it's like the right hip stacks on top of the left, reaching back through the foot, the heel, and then just shimmy it back down. Okay, so we're just adding a little rotation. I want you to lift up and flip it open as much as you can. And then bring it back down, taking one more here. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. And then bring it back down. Now step that right foot way back. Drop the right knee down. Check out the front knee. If it wound up something like this, just readjust. Okay? Or pull your item towards you and find the support first and readjust. Again, this thing's mobile, so I can move it in toward me. I'm going to come forward and just rest your elbows or maybe your hands. It depends on how you're feeling and how high your item is. We're just looking for a deeper stretch through the hip flexor of the right leg and in the hip joint of the left leg. Maybe that inner thigh is where you're feeling that. But everybody's different. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. Starting to make your way back up as you place your hands down, lift the chest, turn toes under, lift the back knee, and then stepping forward, finding your forward fold here. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Hands moving back to heart center. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Lifting halfway. Okay, stepping your left foot back again. You're in your big high lunge. Do try to keep a little space here from your toes to wherever your hands are. Okay, we're going to continue now walking the hands forward, just like we did before. Okay, so I've got a nice long diagonal here. Inhale, lifting off of the back foot, finding that little modified balance posture. Okay, a little modified warrior three. So from here, moving back into that Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So we just lift that left hip up and over on top of the right hip. Hold it here. Take a moment. Fingertips are to the item you're holding or the piece of furniture or even on a block elevated here. Okay, we're going to bring that left foot forward and then take it back. Okay, not past your hip line, just in line with your hip. Bring it forward. Take it back and hold. Okay, so you want to look over your left shoulder, see your toes, wiggle them. Now, you might stay right here. Let's continue. We're going to take about 4 more rounds of breath. If you want to try to slowly bring your left arm up, it's like you're leaning against a wall. And we're finding that full Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Last full breath. Very good. Bring it back down. I want you to step this left foot all the way toward the back of your mat as you bend your right knee. Come on up. Very nice. Back into your warrior two. Exalted warrior, right arm up. And then bring it back to center. All right, so straighten out your front leg, right leg. Okay, it's going to look opposite because of where I am in relation to you on the screen. Okay, so your right leg, your right leg. Looks like my left leg. All right, sweep up, turn the toes. So all the toes are pointing forward now. Big, wide forward bend. So if you've got that piece of furniture that you can't move, turn toward it. If you have a piece of furniture that you can move, like a chair, pull it in front of you. Okay, so go ahead and grab it. You can come down to your elbows. If you want to drape over it, you could do so. It depends on if it's a chair, it has a back or not. Maybe you drape over it, or hands to the floor or blocks. Completely your choice. And as I allow myself to rest on this ottoman, I can even come down a little further maybe and rest the forehead. Because it's elevated, it's a little more comfortable. Go ahead and take 3 more rounds of breath here. You just slowly bring yourself back up. So pivoting back over onto the right foot. So pivot the right toes toward the long or short edge of your mat. Bend that knee. Hold it here for just a moment. Again, you can bring that chair in or any other way that you want to position yourself. We're going to spin all the way back around to the front. Find your high lunge. Step the right foot back, finding your plank. One more breath. Lift up, pull the hips back, shift the heels down. So inhale, gazing forward, step the left foot forward. Okay, you stay there. I am going to turn just so that is a little easier and we can still see. Okay, so that left foot is forward, your right leg is back. Okay. Now, gazing forward, walk your hands across the item. Inhale, lift the back leg. Hold it here. I want you to feel like there's a string attached around your waist or a band attached around your waist. It's attached to the ceiling and it could hoist you up, get lighter. And then rotate the right leg. So toes are pointing now toward the long edge of your mat or to the right side of the room. Bring it back down. Inhale. Let's do it again. Exhale. Open up. Pause. Bring the right leg forward. Bring it back in line with the hip. Good. Soften the left knee. Bring the right leg forward. Bring the right leg back. Hold it. Here, look over your right shoulder. I want you to be able to see your toes. So if they're way back here, and I don't want you to have to look way over, all right? You should just be able to kind of glance and see those toes. Heel in line with hip. Okay. Let's go. 4 more rounds of breath if you want to start gradually taking that right arm up and spinning the right side of your body back into that full Ardha Chandrasana. Lovely. Take 1 more breath. And then we're going to bring it all back down. Okay, drop that right foot down. Spin back around to the front. And once again, you can take your item or hands to floor or blocks. Find a space that you feel the most comfortable that you could stay in for about 4 more rounds of breath. Soften the face. Allow the tongue to rest into the mouth. Start to bring your chest up. Soften the knees. So as we heel toe the feet towards center, Hands can be elevated or on the floor. Softly bend the knees. Bring the hands above the knees. Start to slowly unwind. Bring yourself back up. Very nice work. All right, so let's have a seat for a moment if you have that chair. If you don't, once again, maybe something elevated like a bolster or even another piece of furniture. Okay, you just don't want it to be too high. Okay, and so it depends on the height of your own body. Okay, I like this to be so that my knees could be just maybe in line with the hips or slightly higher than the hips. Okay, so as you come forward, just kind of come toward the edge of whatever you're sitting on, not too far forward, but just where you're comfortable. If you need something cushioned, place a blanket in your seat just to give your sit bones a little padding. So taking your right, now I will be able to mirror you better. So you're gonna take your right leg forward. We're gonna keep the left knee bent. Lift up tall, inhale. Sweep the arms up. Now separate the legs just a little bit, or separate your feet just a little. Okay, come forward and toward the toes. Okay, have that straight leg. Here, if you have your blocks and you're finding even in this elevated space that this is more challenging for you, I want you to put your hands on those blocks or to the floor. Let your chest fall. Just another way to get a great stretch there on the back of the leg. Check out the knee, make sure it's not buckling back. A little softness behind it. From this position, go ahead and walk yourself back up. You can place hand on that left thigh to help. Okay, bringing the right leg up, cross it over. Now, if you're sitting like I am, my knee is up a little higher than my hip line. It's going to be a little more intense for me. So if that's the case for you, you can also just straighten this bottom leg a little more to lower it. Okay, so whichever variation feels better, but do bring your heel out, at least in line with your knee or ahead of your knee. So we don't necessarily want to keep it tucked under here. Okay, so sitting up tall, inhale. Just let your forearm rest across your leg, not right on your knee, but just like a nice little diagonal, like you can make a triangle with your arms. Okay, or a little upside down V. Just leaning forward. That's all you're doing. Adding your own body weight to the stretch. Okay. Even shifting around a little bit side to side. Deep breath in. If you want to go further, you can lean further forward over the leg, reaching. As you start to make your way back up, let's take that right leg, bring the knee into the chest. First, give it a hug. Just hug it and lift your chest up a bit. Okay. So you're not leaning too far back. Again, this other foot is kind of kicked out just to give you a little more anchor. Okay. So now lifting it up, see if you can cross it the rest of the way over. Seated tall. Left hand is going to cross over. Right hand will sweep behind you. If you have a seat back, you can hold on to the seat back. If you're like me, you can just let your hand rest behind you and rotate. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Big breath in, exhale, maybe a little deeper twist. Last full breath. And come back to center. Releasing here, just uncross the legs. Take a moment though. Again, your feet, make sure they're not tucked up underneath you and that they're in front of you. Inhale, sweep the arms up and take your right hand, reach it over to the left side. And then come back to center. We'll do that again in just a moment, so don't worry, we're gonna even that out. Okay, now left leg goes forward. Inhale, sit tall, reach arms. Exhale, come forward. Now, you could keep your hands here, gently moving forward. They can frame that straight leg, blocks or fingertips. It's really your choice, but I want you to pull your toes back, put a little softness behind this knee. So if you're a hyperextender, like me, it might buckle back. So just put a little bend in it and come forward, but keep the foot flexed, toes active. So taking 2 more rounds of breath where you are. Last full breath. And then coming back up. We're going to do seated figure 4. Take that base leg or your right leg, move the heel out a little, lift the left leg, cross it over. Okay. If that knee's still a little high for you, just straighten out the bottom leg a little more. We don't want to lock it or straighten it completely necessarily, but walking the foot forward, wiggle it forward until you get to the level that feels right for you, or pull it in and just allow yourself to sit tall. Okay. Inhale. You may not even need to move forward. That might be as intense as you want it. Okay. If you want to go further, go ahead and come forward. Just making that little triangle again, resting your forearms across your legs, your shin, and across the diagonal around your knee. Foot is flexed. If it's uncomfortable, if you're feeling the bone here, move it over a little. Okay. So you don't want to be in discomfort, just at least in some ways. This might not be real comfortable, but it's going to feel good when you're done. Great seated stretch. Okay. Go ahead, take one more breath in. If you want to come forward, take that opportunity. We'll come back up. Lean back just a little bit. Pick that leg up. Pull it in. Give it a nice little stretch here for your back. Even knee to nose kind of situation if you want to round out a little, but then come back. Sit tall. Go ahead and cross that leg up and over as far as it'll go on the thighs. And you can even walk your base leg into center more. Sit tall. Inhale. Sweep around to the left. Right arm just relaxes across the top. Keep that left sit bone heavy as well as the right sit bone. Sitting tall. Inhale. Exhale. Pull back a little further. One more breath. And then come back to center. Okay, go ahead and release that side. Feet are separated. We'll take that left arm, sweep it up, over to the side stretch, and then back all the way to center. Bring hands behind you. I'll just turn so you can see. So if you have a chair back, you could hold on to the actual sides of the chair. If you're like I am with no back, just hold on to the back of the item. Inhale, lift the chest. And then drop your tail back down a little. Okay. So just a nice chest opening here. And then lastly, we'll take the legs even wider. Okay, so nice big wide knee position. Bring the hands forward. Forearms just resting right to the insides of your knees. Kind of feel like you could help push them apart just a little more. Come forward to a little seated wide leg forward bend. As you start to make your way back up, chest is about just maybe 6 or 7 inches above the knee line. You're going to hold it here. Push into those forearms. Push the knees out. Keep the feet planted. I want you to actively push into it. As you're pushing into your left side, pull your right shoulder back and just let your left shoulder drop down a little. Look back. Maybe feeling that more on your inner thigh and in your lower back. Come back to center. We'll switch sides. So just push into that right side. Pull back on the left side. Drop your left shoulder a little. Or excuse me, your right shoulder a little. So we're pulling back to the left. Let's do that again. Now you can continue with your forearms. I like to place the hands here, get a little deeper. So I'll place the hands. I wrap them around the front or the insides here. And then same thing. Push out. Dropping. Now it's a little more exaggerated here as that left shoulder drops in. That changes the stretch and the twist. Moving it up a little more. Come back. Keep those knees pressing out. Try not to let them move in with you. Okay, that's why our hands or our arms are helping here. So we're pushing and dropping and twisting. Back to center. Very nice work. Bring the legs in. Let's take a big sweep up. And bring the hands right to heart. Take just a moment here. Let your hands rest on your thighs. They can be palms up or down. If you have a seat back, you could slide back into it, or even a wall behind you, you could move your item. Finding a space where you can either just sit tall or rest against something for just a moment. Closing your eyes. Go back to that intention you set at the beginning of your practice. Feel your sit bones become heavy. Feel the grounding through the feet. So you feel that same energy that moves through the tail, the sit bones, and the feet. And then see if you could feel as though you were drawing energy up through the legs, through the torso, through the crown of the head. So as we're feeling that grounding energy moving down or from the earth, we also feel this energy that moves up toward the sky. Eyes heavy, tongue falling from teeth, jaw relaxed. Softening the space between the brow. On your next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Let palms meet over the crown of the head. And then they slide right down to the heart. Take a moment here. Honor your intention for the day. Honor your abilities and the abilities of your body today. The ability for it to work with you and you to work with it. And honor the fact that you showed up for yourself. It's very important. Not every time, not every day do we do that. Some days we lose it. It's okay. We just keep coming back, showing up. As you bow, honor that feeling of accomplishment. Bring hands right to the third eye or right between the brow, to the heart. And then just a little bow. Namaste. Yay.